Feedback is great. Taking the opportunity to listen to how others feel about your work and making improvements on that work creates trust, value, and lasting relationships. Feedback is also something that can be ignored. When it comes to video games, players give awful feedback all of the time. Some video game fans are so dedicated to their developers that they perceive any critical but relevant feedback as an attack. This can lead to stagnation and comfort on the developer's end. Why put in the effort to fix known issues if the money keeps coming in? Kuro Games is a developer that is exceptionally receptive to player feedback. Wuthering Waves is a game that has seen as many updates to the game as it's been days since launch. The development team is working an indescribable amount of overtime to fix some of the underlying technical issues with the game while providing immediate action to pain points in its design. Public perception across multiple communities would have you thinking that Wuthering Waves was a complete failure on launch. A game fraught with technical issues, horrible story, and low quality. These Doomposters, while legitimate in some of their complaints, are vastly overstating many of the game's issues. Currently, just 3 days after release, the game is in an incredible state. My name is Saint Tontis, and today I'll be covering the literal track record, a player acknowledgement that Kuro Games has demonstrated over the past few days, and why Wuthering Waves, with this developer at its head, has one of the brightest futures in gaming. Wuthering Waves has compensated players a lot in the past few days. This may or may not be entirely driven by the presence of another giant in the open world gacha game space, but with recent announcements from Genshin Impact on several of the integrations of highly requested changes to the game on the week of Wuthering Waves' launch, it is clear that Hoyoverse sees Kuro Games as a legitimate threat. With reports of follow-botting by pro-Genshin Twitch accounts, spamming messages that look suspiciously machine-translated for popular Wuthering Waves streamers, along with reports of content creators having creator server access revoked for covering Wuthering Waves. It's natural that we could see a lot of opposition towards the game. If the company is acting like this, how will its biggest fans? During its launch, Wuthering Waves had a significant amount of technical issues, mainly attributed to those running the game on older phones or poor hardware. The system requirements for the game are quite large given its modern engine and graphical fidelity. However, technical issues are commonplace in modern games. Let's take a look at some of these previous Game of the Year award winners. They had quite a few optimization and hardware issues on release. Technical faults on launch alone are not a reason to condemn a game, yet the reaction across social media towards Wuthering Waves was incredible, with a huge amount of criticism for 1 in 100 bugs and very odd occurrences that were subsequently fixed in future updates. The official subreddit's top posts completely doomposting the game. Wuthering Waves is perhaps the most next-gen game thus far to release on mobile. Its system requirements are high for a reason, and poor performance on phones and hardware from over a decade ago isn't a fair fault for a game with this much graphical fidelity that is released in 2024. However, Kuro recognized that a sizable piece of its market had limited access to more modern hardware, and dedicated a huge amount of work to optimization upgrades while also providing 10 standard banner pulls. Kuro extended this compensation even further. There were several critiques on the design of the beginner banner and how this banner would disappear on an early 5-star roll, removing access to the discounted 20% 10 pull for the player. Rather than provide an additional 10 pulls, which is the most that a player could have lost, Kuro went ahead and just gave out a standard 5-star selector. This is not something that they had to do, but this is something that they decided to do. This is what you call a dev going above and beyond. This is a dev recognizing that some players may have potentially lost days worth of progress. This is a dev recognizing that starting late in a gacha game can feel bad. This is a dev recognizing that they messed up, and that they're doing everything in their power to make it right. With immediate access to another 5-star standard character along with whatever they got on the beginner banner, any new player's account is in a great spot right off of the bat. However, the compensation doesn't end here. Kuro, with an incredibly generous message in the mailbox, also decided to gift an additional 10 limited pulls, bringing the total tally for a new account logging into the game today a grand total of 40 standard pulls and a 40 roll pity on the beginner 5-star banner, 20 limited pulls, and a 5-star unit selector, with the ability to get 6 additional limited pulls and 6 additional standard pulls, as well as 6 limited weapon pulls from the Coral shop in exchange for whatever dupes they have on blue 3-star weapons. Any player who struggled with technical difficulties has the opportunity to build an incredible account in almost no time at all. The most recent set of updates added a skip button to almost the entirety of the game. The only unskippable moments are cutscenes or extremely important character introductions or moments. This feature was added alongside massive performance updates. And as you can tell from this footage, the game runs incredibly well now on modern machines. This is also something that came with compensation asteroids for less than 25 minutes of server downtime. With the total amount of pulls from both the compensation rewards as well as the Coral shop, a player can throw basically around 30 pulls at Jian's banner with a fresh account. And with the addition of the skip button for a majority of the story, players can re-roll their accounts and unlock convenes even faster than before. If you're a player that's currently very dissatisfied, maybe you lost the 50-50 on Jian's banner, maybe you have a lot of dupes of standard characters and you don't like where your account is at, now is a perfect time to re-roll and get Jian and have a great, powerful start to the game. This is a company that works to fix their mistakes. This is a company that actively listens to player feedback. I've been saying it all this time. We have seen an incomparable amount of developer responsiveness, compensation, and player reception in the 3 very short days that this game has been in release. When Kuro makes a blunder, they pay it back. Hopefully, this was helpful for any person still on the fence with Wuthering Waves or any person that's not very happy with their current account. The game is in an excellent state. It's almost painful to put it down sometimes to create content like this. But players need to understand that this game, in those 3 short days, has become something amazing. Best of luck on your rerolls if that's the path that you're heading, or best of luck with everything else in the game. Peace out, Rovers.